of the Moon, Frank and Moon Scarab.
Hey,
And
friends.
tonight it is the more intuitive me on the 999 show. And we're going to be doing the Four of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's got her picks, and I kind of picked one. This is one I wanted to show off. Was this Four of Swords in the Protestant scene that exists in that with the lady preacher and everything else? Aziru, welcome. And so while I turn the camera around, Elizabeth here is going to tell you all about her channel and what it is she does.
Sounds good. Well, first of all, I'm super happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me and uh, actually opening it up to the whole community. That was pretty cool. I thought it was very interesting, and I'm happy to be here. I have a channel as well, and I do a lot of readings. I do videos on journaling, some deck flip throughs or deck comparisons, deck pairings, that type of thing. So yeah, I try to keep it interesting and enjoy myself really, because that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, because YouTube can be fun while we're doing a whole lot of work and putting our shows together.
Mm-hmm.
And YouTube is a whole lot more fun when you don't look at the analytics.
So true.
Obsessive, but I still do it. I like wake up in the morning and maybe like wake up and I've been sleeping for 2 hours. Oh, the first thing you do is I go to that app and I look at it and I think, oh, only 2 views. That's it, or or something
Yes.
like that.
Oh, look, Aziru has to run. They have a
Oh,
pool tournament today.
good.
Thank you.
He's getting to be better at that.
Yeah.
Also, the tropical empress Taro. She's a professional pool player. She
Oh,
actually
is she?
she's like closer to where you live.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I'm gonna introduce you all to my pencil set here, and so these are the colors that you can choose from, and so you don't have to stick to the traditional way, but you can just choose any color you want. And where do you want to start out with? Do you want to start with like the walls or something or anything like that? You can
Let's
do
start with do you want to start with the figure?
the figure. Let's start with the figure. So you can choose any color you want for the figure to be.
Mm. You have quite a few pencils. Any metallics?
I do have a few metallics, but I also have a whole set of metallic pencils over here.
Mm.
And yeah. And so my metallic pencils are silver, pewter, bronze, antique gold, copper, metallic pink, there's gold. And let me see, I got a purple, red, and I think that's it.
That's a lot of metallics.
Wait, one more. Yellow.
Yikes.
Those are
I
that was
don't
my first,
know.
Yeah.
The boring side of me wants to say pewter, and then the eccentric side wants to say, let's do pink.
Okay. We'll do pink. And
Okay.
what we'll do is we'll do these three shades here, and we'll kind of layer those in. So because they're really similar,
Mm,
and so we'll start there.
that sounds great. I was inspired by your collection,
And
so I
so
decided to upgrade and get the pencils as well.
yeah, and I also have these pencils as well. So this is I have essentially three sets of pencils, and these are like watercolor. I got like water soluble color pencils, and then my sister got me these for my Christmas present.
Ooh, that's nice.
And so
Well,
I'll just
I was using crayons,
yeah,
the like
crayon,
Castell.
fiber pencil, yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes. But they were like sometimes they blended, sometimes they didn't.
yeah. You kind
You
of
know,
gotta go up a little bit. Like these crayons were like $1.50 each.
mm,
They're wax pastel, and so we'll start in here.
okay.
All right. So do you want? Okay, we're gonna start with the guy's clothes. And so do you while I'm doing this, you can if you wanna
Yes.
you want to
Um,
start with explaining about this character here. And so I'm
okay.
gonna tell. Let's see. You wanted it pink or the purple and the pink look really close to. Okay, we got the pink. Got
Yeah.
some pink clothes. So Frank, I get most of my art supplies from an art supply store that is 2 or 3 towns over from where I live in Western Oregon. And the I do not know that big pencil set. I do not know where it came from. Uh, my assumption is that it came from Michaels, but I don't really know.
I picked up mine on Amazon.
Yeah,
So I went with these Aristo. Uh
Larissa.
mhm. And there's 72 pencils in here. I mean, there's plenty of colors, that's for
Yeah,
sure. But it's a beautiful set, and it's a like a tin, and then the tin, has all of the colors and the names. It's pretty neat.
yeah, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I'm excited to work with these. This is going to be a little bit of an upgrade. I was using them for my journal,
Yeah,
and I don't even know how I got that idea. But my first watercolors were good old Crayola,
hmm
good old Crayola, and I used them in. I used to paint in my notebooks, and then after it was dry, I would journal.
yeah.
So
So how long have you been doing tarot then?
tarot, I have been doing tarot for oh, four. I Yeah, 4 years.
4 years. And then so
hmm
what is it that led you to tarot?
I I had been putting the deck in and out of my cart on Amazon for a while. I don't know what instigated it. Here, I'll just show some of my watercolors while I'm talking. I
Yeah,
don't know, you know, what led to it. I just was thinking about it all the time and thinking I should just do it, and then worried about what people would think, what people would say, and then I would take it and put it in and out of the cart.
Yeah.
And then finally that Christmas, I bought the deck for myself and I started to study with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was no turning back after that. I started with the Radiant.
The Radiant. I love the Radiant deck.
Hmm.
Yeah. So do you want his armor, lower part of his armor, to be the same pinky color, or do you want like a different one of these colors, like a bronze or something like
No, yeah, let's mix it up.
that? Okay. We'll get his legs because he's got the I can add that actually let's because I have upper armor here and then these are okay, let's layer the bronze on top of that so it has
Mm,
that pinky tone, and so I'll go back down there and do a because so it has its under um the under armor thing, and then you have your over armor because so you're laying there and protecting yourself from what? From all your anxieties and everything, and taking rest from all those swords that are
yes.
threatening you.
Hmm.
Yeah. So 4 years into the tarot, and so you worked from it. You just kind of you wanted to do it, but then you didn't want to. So what was the big hang up for why you didn't do why you didn't want to?
I think the stigma,
The
right?
stigma.
The worrying about what people would think or what they would say, and then I just decided to do it. And once I did it, I felt like, you know what, this is for me. This is my practice, and I have a sense of enjoyment. And I actually I was the most worried about what my kids would think, and they were the most open minded. Apparently, all of their friends have tarot decks and do all the things. So
Mm,
it looks like I was the last one to the party.
yeah. So did you do you come from uh Catholic descent?
Yes.
You have that in there. That's what I was thinking. And so
Yes.
what you had was the prohibition about
Mm-hmm.
the tarot prohibition. But then if you go down there and you start studying into the minutia of the Bible, because like one of the things like I knew this even before I started with the tarot is that they uncovered synagogues that were like 2, 3, 4,000 years old that had the zodiac right on the floor.
Mm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, astrology and that and all that stuff is all part of the religion. So maybe when they talked about divination, they weren't talking about they were talking about different things. Maybe they're talking about the divination that hello early welcome or ritual welcome. Maybe they were talking about things that things that the Romans did, things that they were in contrast with to what because because you have like within the Jewish Kabbalah and which the where in out of both Christian and Jewish mysticism is most likely where tarot came from.
Mm.
That it came from there, and especially like especially with like Arthur Edward Waite because he was a Catholic and
Mm-hmm.
he would and then he when he was in the Golden Order of Golden Dawn he had like clashes with I think it might have been with certain other it was actually the I can't pronounce the guy's Blavatsky something Blavatsky. I have who wrote the Voice of the Silence, which was but some of them were really down on Catholicism, but as you can see when you look at the tarot, how many Catholic symbols there are. The the priest and the little guy.
Well, Tom
Yeah.
has joined us and he's suggesting Blavatsky. Is that who you're
That Blavatsky, that is the one. Blavatsky
trying?
is the one that Arthur, because I was reading in the pictorial guide to the tarot.
Mm-hmm.
That so how do you like the guy so far?
I love him.
So we got the skirt. Maybe we'll take with the skirt his male skirt, chainmail skirt. We'll layer in just a little bit of this gold on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So what was I saying? Blavatsky um,
Helena,
was,
Helena Blavatsky.
I think that might be it. It was H.P. Blavatsky, and so
Oh,
they were all contemporaries in Golden Dawn. Yes, that's right. The Theosophical Society. And so and so this is often in England land because all this happened in England, and the secret society, the Golden Order of Golden Dawn, which was really short lived. I think it was like 10 years, maybe a little bit less.
hmm.
And Blavatsky was really into Buddhism and those kinds of things, and was but whereas Arthur or Waite, he had grown up in the church and he liked the church, and so it just was a part of his spirituality.
Mm.
And like I think he was also contemporaries with Crowley as well, and but it's kind of interesting that you have all these people. But this story is kind of told in the pictorial guide to the tarot. It
Oh,
talks.
I see.
It
Well,
talks
I pulled out 78 Degrees of Wisdom as our reference for tonight,
okay.
should anyone have any questions. But you know what I thought was interesting? Um, they open up with the fours relating to stabilization. And I know a lot of times I think about, oh, four, stability, but stabilization changes the meaning a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes you need to take that rest in order to become more stable, or you've become unstable, so you need it. So I really like that.
yeah. So
Translates as rest or even just retreat.
Blavatsky claimed a lot of learnings or teachings from Tibet, yes, and then there was a lot that she never actually visited, but it was okay.
Mm,
Yeah, so so it was just a lot of that was just study from afar. Yeah. Well,
mhm.
go to like a Trappist monastery. There's a Trappist monastery that not too far from where I live. Well, when I lived closer to it, I used to go all the time, and the Trappist. I'm putting some silver down on while we're talking, so I'm not having like idle hands here, until
Yes,
you can tell me what color the slab is that he's laying on.
I think it looks amazing so far.
Okay, and
Yep.
so you have a lot of with the Trappists. They do a lot of silent contemplative prayer, which
Hmm.
which is more so they may be I think they're Benedictines, and the Benedictines, certain flavors of Benedictine is more in line with Buddhists and so forth. And so what would you like this I put this as a base color down, but what would you like this color to be?
I feel like that color was looking pretty good.
Would you like me to layer something else on top of it?
Uh, yeah.
Like another one of these metallic colors, or do you want to go
Yes,
into
you have like a deep eggplant or purple.
I have this metallic pink, and I have the red, and then here's that purple.
Mm. Which do you think would look best?
We might actually go with a now I do have in here some more pastel-y like colors.
Mm-hmm.
So you
With that
maybe
silver one on the end looks nice.
this one,
Yeah, or even that sage green one in the middle.
this one here. Okay,
Mhm.
let's do that. And so yeah. So then you got your first tarot deck, which was a radiant. Now did you
Mhm.
get the book that went along with it? Because I got one. I got that book, and that one was like really. It looked like a. It was like my first tarot deck book that I purchased, and I bought it used, but it was. It remind. Oh, this looks like a textbook because of all the how it's how everything's all laid out in it, kind of more like a textbook. And
Mhm. Well, the book that or the deck that I purchased came with, it was a kit and it came with the book.
yeah,
So I didn't have to make a separate purchase, and that book was really helpful, actually.
yeah. So that book is. I think I have it here. I got this. I got my box full of books and stuff right beside. I don't really need to pull it out. You know which one it is. It's
Yeah.
exploring the radiant tarot. And there's my sister Ann Turner.
Oh, hi,
Um,
Anne.
yeah, so she got me
The pencils that you were talking about, which,
yeah, the
by the way, I wanted to mention that Selena said that she ordered her Van Gogh, and
yeah.
they arrived tomorrow.
Oh, good. So she wanted to place the order before the tariffs go into play because
She
I like
ordered Van Gogh and watercolor paper.
yeah, yeah, that's yeah. I like put my one of my last orders in for a while. I made like this big order of like tea and stuff like that because I'm kind of wondering how bad the coffee prices are going to be come Monday.
Mm.
You know. Okay, what color do you want this sword to be? What color do you want the
Oh,
sword to be? Well, we might go back over all of these things to get different. Well, there's different colors, anyways.
right.
So, any other color you want to put on top of it? You like this one, right?
I do, or even that bronzy, the bronze one that you had. Did
The
you
other
end up using the pewter?
I didn't. I used this one here. You
Mm,
mentioned. Put this
yeah.
down here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
I feel like all of those would be excellent colors for
let's
soul.
let's add another this light blue on top of it here, so that
Mm-hmm.
it kind of puts a little bit of light into it. When you layer these colors down in, you have you know,
Yes. Have you noticed that a lot of times in decks, the sword suit uses a lot of those blue grays in order to kind of decorate the suit?
yeah, because you're looking at the what do those colors mean? And so yeah, like I picked up the 1909 tarot just for the book in the kit that came with it, the one that Sasha Graham wrote, and
I see. Well,
it
I
really
pulled out a few cards to look at today.
okay. Why don't you go show those off while I'm doing this?
Yeah. Well, I'll show this one. This is from I Am the Artist, and it is probably the closest to the RWS. It
Yeah.
shows the figure with the sword underneath and the three swords on top.
Hmm.
But then all the other cards are very different. Here
Yeah.
we're looking at the figure from the top down.
Yeah.
And so she's holding the sword, but the other three swords are in her hair, tangled in her hair.
Oh.
And
So
you
we're
see, these are using a lot of blues and purples. They say that this card is connected to the third eye chakra,
hmm
and I'm thinking that may be why.
Well, and that's also looking that swords are connected to the element of air.
Yes.
And so you're looking at air or intelligence.
Mm-hmm. And
And
most of the cards show somebody taking a rest, right? So here we have the figure
yeah.
laying in the moon.
Hmm.
Laying in the moon. This card always makes me smile. She's in the hammock.
Yeah.
She's in the hammock. And she doesn't have any of the swords. All the swords are floating above her in this one.
Hmm.
In the Sufi tarot, same rest
Yeah.
out in the desert. That bed is stunning.
I'm missing some here. I feel like I'm.
And this one is a bit of rest too. This is Tarot of Light. And we see the angel is kind of wrapped up in her wings.
Yeah.
This one has a keyword rest,
Rest.
which makes sense.
Yeah, because yeah, you always feel like when you draw this card, it's like, oh, it's not a bad thing. You know,
Hmm.
it's not
But
a.
then I think like the other cards that I have show more of the Four of Swords in meditation.
Yeah.
So here we have, and this one kind of speaks to what you've been doing with your coloring, right? This is the Four of Swords from the Sasarai Bito, and the figure's face is blue. And I know you've been talking about painting your figures blue.
Yeah.
Yes, the Sassy Burrito. I love this deck, Tom. I never put this deck away. It just lives on my desk all the time.
Yeah. Hey, Moon Scarab, when are you? Do you want to come and do this on my show sometime? I know that. Yeah.
Perhaps he can play his guitar while you color. That would be a feast.
Yeah, that might be kind of nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like a master of all
Of
trades.
all things, did you hear his latest song?
No,
Oh
I
my
haven't yet.
goodness.
I've been meaning to, but I was just like, I've been having a real hard time with the stuff going on in our country, and I'm not going to say anything other than
Mm,
that. But I've had a real hard time with it. It's been really hard.
I understand.
So, but we're here to not do that. So, what color do you
We're
want this?
taking a rest, just like the Four of
Yeah,
Swords.
yeah. So, what color do you want the swords to be?
Oh, I thought we're not doing like a blue silver or a pewter or even
Well,
a gold.
I was like looking at the backgrounds, and that was what I was working on with the backgrounds from here.
Yeah. It
And
looks
then,
so good.
so right now I found this one. This is a green, a metallic green, and I added some of this to layer it in here to give it just a little bit more light. And maybe we will go in with this
I kind
straight,
of like that. Yeah, I kind of like that.
straight up gold. And yeah, straight up
You
gold.
know, I forgot to mention this one is from Tarot of Oneness, also showing meditation. You see the feathers, the sound bowl, the mala beads. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. And this one is from Shimmering Veil. But this one almost shows like a meditation that takes you to another place.
To my sister, no, we're not doing any readings, and this is just what we're doing here. It's called we're coloring the tarot.
Mm.
My guest here is sort of directing my hand from afar, and then I'm just kind of like being the servant here and offering suggestions here and there.
Yes, he's doing great, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, so then as a so
That looks really good. Here, I'll show you the last one. This is Vision Quest.
Okay.
Vision Quest. Pull the string.
Pull the string.
This is Vision Quest. This one has a keyword as well, contemplation.
Contemplation. See, there it is that Catholic or your Eastern kind of a thought. So you grew up in the.
Actually, I have a question for you, Bill.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So, how do you go about choosing which card you're going to color with which person?
I don't know. All I know is there's a whole bunch of cards in here that I can't. There's some of them I've already done myself,
Mm,
and a whole bunch of them in here that I can't do at all because of whoever put this book together. They put all this black space in here, and that means that's something I can't color. And there's a
right.
whole bunch of these cards that are just like that, and like this one. I mean, and
Yes.
so I'll have to do something else when it comes to do that. So that is a job for tracing paper.
Mm-hmm.
And so, or I will go and photocopy cards, and like this one, so that's the. I don't know why.
I'll tell you why I'm asking. When you said that we were doing, I took it as a sign because I needed to hear that that day. That day, I needed to hear that Four of Swords. And you said Four of Swords, and I was like, that
Oh,
that, that had a meaning for me that day. So I just
well,
wanted to share that.
being that you're what. Let's see. I've had so few guests so far, and that was one of the ones I wanted to do because of this card here, because of this
Mm-hmm.
scene, and and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
You might have come out of Protestantism, but maybe not. But maybe that's just the way it is that most practitioners of tarot come right out of that are Western come right out of Catholicism
Well,
because
there's a whole slew of people who practice folk Catholicism. I mean, there's mystics in every uh
there, there are
religion.
there are and so you're more likely to Catholics are. I think Catholics might be just a little bit more likely to be mystics because that the religion itself it sort of encourages um, experiential, the experience of things, and you have that experience, especially when you go through Holy Week
Mm,
and how mystical Holy Week is, and or if you like go from, because when I was in Seattle, I was just a couple blocks away from the cathedral church, and I just really love that. And I kind of taught myself how to sing by sitting behind the pipe organ and
mm.
tuning your voice. But they also had like these Taizé services, and they were rated as like ecumenical, but it was the 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 repetitiveness, the liturgy always being the same, and then when you have that sameness, it allows you to experience mystery, and that's at least to me it does that way. Now I know for a lot of people it just may just put them to sleep, which is why they're Protestant. Uh, or because they can't, because or they're going because where's the drum set at, or where's the electric guitars? And I said, well, I've gone to a couple of those services, and I'm thinking, I don't like any of that stuff. I like that music, I just don't like it in church, and or when I do see them, I automatically my mind goes to the movie Leap of Faith with Steve Martin. And have you ever
I
seen that
love
film?
that movie.
Yeah, well, that's exactly where my mind goes. Every time I've been to a couple evangelical services in my life, and I mean, a couple of them were like memorial services, and I was horrified at each one of those times I went to one because of like, oh, it talked about old Tom. Well, he got saved 2 weeks ago, and now he's in heaven. And his family will one day get to see them when they pass on too. But it's so lucky that he was saved just before he died, because it would be, because it's that whole thing of preaching a person into hell thing, and so you never hear that. I'm sure it was done in the past in Catholicism. It certainly was never done in the Lutheran Church. You know, I've never seen that before. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Or it was Ange saying saved, and yeah, yeah,
Yes, because he says, look, when a person resting, it's way different than if it's a stone tomb. And I was like thinking that it almost reminds me of like sanctuary, right? The hunchback
yeah,
claims sanctuary from the church because he needs a place
yeah,
to, get a plan together and figure it out. And then I don't know, Ange comes out of nowhere with Tom was saved.
yeah, yeah. I can see it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that. Yeah. Well, I
Eternal
mean,
rest is much different. That's very true. Tom, I'm looking in my book just to see if there's anything extra in here. But it's all the usual stuff that we hear, withdrawal can lead to healing. It could be holding back from a fight until there's a better chance of winning. Withdrawing for a time after some deep hurt that a person gives him or herself a chance to recover.
yeah,
Withdrawal, even for the purpose of recovery, can shut a person off from the world, creating a kind of spell that only outside energy can break. And it's interesting she uses the word spell because that makes me think of, the whole Sleeping Beauty where she's asleep.
oh, in a magical sleep or a potion.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, there was I was looking at this. I think if I remember right, with this deck, um, I like the cards. I just like the moon card on that one, but I think the Four of Swords, and this one was interesting too. I got this on Etsy. They bought the cards, and they were all they bought them at like an auction, and there were no boxes with the cards, and they did the book with print that was so tiny that you can't even read it. And I'm thinking it was very disappointing. And
Mhm.
you know, and Four of Swords, there it is with there. And so this is really more of that rest thing rather than you're resting on a stone slab or something like that.
Yes. Yes. I feel like, let me see. I pulled out 2, 4, 6, 8. I have 10 cards, and half of them are the rest, and the other half are the meditation aspect.
Yeah, yeah. Well, then there was another card in here, which reminded me of when I was in the fraternity, and it was like they were throwing knives, and where I was playing darts, and
Mm.
was reaching up to clear my darts away, and then somebody threw a dart, and it stuck right in the back of my hand.
The
But
heck?
we were
Is
all
that
intoxicated.
was that a friend or a foe?
Oh no, that was when I was living in a fraternity house in college, and we were gearing up, and we were all extremely intoxicated,
I was gonna say,
and
was alcohol involved?
of course it was involved. Yeah, alcohol was absolutely involved, and I don't. Yeah, because I can't remember if it was during the summer months or if it was during the school year. Because during the school year, I only lived in that house like one semester.
Oh my God, did you
Yeah.
see Tom's comment? He says, I find it mind boggling that Bill was in a fraternity.
Well, we were like when I joined that fraternity, it was like we were called they would call Delta Psi Delta. They were a local fraternity, and when I entered the fraternity, I'm thinking, oh, this is just like the Lambda 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 on the Revenge of the Nerds, because see, the Deltas had the highest grade point average in all of the fraternity and sorority houses on campus, and
That's
uh,
another great movie.
yeah,
Revenge of the
exactly,
Nerds.
yeah. So no, I mean, and then I had talked about this. I don't know if I talked about it here, but I had talked about being in being a pledge in that, and then having a work party and cleaning the walls off on the outside of the house, and I noticed that what's all these pink stains on the outside of the house. I didn't really get it until we had this daiquiri party, and then when I was living in the house at that time, we had the daiquiri party, and I went to bed, and then I was one of those guys vomiting outside the house, outside the window, with the head hanging out the window, and that's where those pink stains came from, yeah, so yeah, yeah, yeah.
Look
So
at you, Bill. You've done it all.
well, I got that experience, and that was what was great, was to get that full college experience, to be in a fraternity. I wasn't in it for very long because I couldn't handle the meetings, and there was just a lot of elements to it that were challenging for me. And then, at that point, I was in college as a physics major, and so it was. I'm gonna the wall behind the swords here. I was thinking, would you be this metallic green color? Would that be something you'd like?
I like that because you know what? I feel like the window has to be the focal point.
Yeah.
So,
So why don't we, with the window, we go and do some of those other colors,
mhm,
some brighter colors that like exist in
in
the
this
big
like a
giant things like that.
stained glass.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So you have like muted colors on the inside, and then on the outside you have vibrant colors, and
Mhm.
kind of like you're taking a rest in this one
Yeah.
area.
You
Yeah.
know, Ange brings up a good point. So you you couldn't handle the meetings, but like the daiquiris and everything else was okay.
Yes, exactly. The meetings were just they oh, and then there was the soda pop machine in the basement, and where they stocked it with their own. They didn't allow any Pepsi company or anything in there, into that space, because the there was like a drink called Apple Slice, but we never had Apple Slice in it. We just had the beer lottery in that, and so like it would be like there was what cheap beer, maybe one every fourth beer was like maybe a Budweiser Ice or some kind of and then maybe all the rest of them were something like a Heidelberg, or maybe it would be like some other really, like a Pabst Blue Ribbon or something like that. And so
Mhm.
so they weren't exactly checking people's IDs and and everything at that stuff, with the who was, I but when I was a pledge, I was 21 years old when I was a pledge, and so I really wasn't really worrying about that too much.
How old were you?
I was 21 when I
Mm.
was a play was a play. So I was already I wasn't breaking any laws. I wasn't breaking any laws. So I was over 20. I was 21, and that was it. So it was. So we got the walls over here. What color do you want the walls and stuff to be up, going up around the window and so forth?
That's a great question. That's a great question, but I was gonna say the color that you used on that slab in the back where the three swords are you gonna carry that down to where the other sword is?
You want me to put? Actually, I didn't think it needed to be that way because you could have like different. You don't have to have a sameness because
No, no
you know
color? Okay.
your this is maybe we can do a different color.
Yeah.
Um, because now this is that pewter, but that's kind of like down in because we have that green right here, and I put that green in here and here, and
Yes.
so
I feel
be-
like those colors usually, because this is clearly a church,
yeah.
and usually the colors on the wall are very muted and
So would you like maybe
oh, that
these
one is good.
this one here?
Yeah. I was gonna
Okay,
say grayish, but I don't know if like a combo of gray and beige.
okay, we'll just do both of these.
Okay.
Okay, so it kind of stands out just a little bit, so it's kind of muted.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So
Paisley wall. Paisley. Tom wants you to put paisley wallpaper on the wall.
Paisley wallpaper, yeah. So you said somebody said it was New Jersey. So you grew up in New Jersey?
I grew up in New Jersey. I did. I grew up in yeah, in the hood.
In the hood.
Yeah.
Mm.
I grew up in actually, have you ever seen that movie Lean on Me?
Lean on me.
Yes. It was based on a true story where the principal of the school locks the fire doors from the inside to keep the drug dealers out and ends up in prison.
Was that an '80s film?
Yes.
I probably saw it.
Yes, that's my hometown. Lena, that was filmed in my hometown and it was based on a school in my town.
Huh.
Mhm. That was Patterson actually.
So lean on me. I'm gonna have to write that down.
Mhm.
See, lean on me.
Yep. Patterson.
Hmm. Because I was
Mhm.
thinking it was like one of those ones where they were teaching. They locked the students in because of they needed to get good grades, like test scores and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, his motivation was to keep drug dealers out because they were just coming to the school for that purpose, not really for actual schooling.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh, Tom went to William Patterson. Yeah.
William Patterson. Oh. So what was that like? I mean, because I grew up where I live now is where I grew up and where it was a logging town and um everybody worked in the timber industry. My father owned and operated a little hardwood mill, and then in this area, this valley that I live in, there were
Hmm.
two people who had everyone was either a business owner who lived up this way, and so with the exception of some people who were like fallers and stuff like that, and so you know the timber industry built this area that I was growing up in, and then my mother's father, because my mother grew up here too. My mother's father was a surveyor, and he worked in the logging industry as well.
Mm.
And so, but so what, you know, you're I don't know what it would be like to live in a ghetto or into anything like that, even though it might be a food desert, for the most part, but
Mm-hmm.
very near an Indian reservation, and there's a lot of Native Americans here, and there was the West Coast Trail of Tears led they force marched all the tribes, like 23 tribes, to this very area that I live in.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have that kind of stuff going on, and which I didn't really know about until I went to work in that particular casino, and they had a every year you'd have a customer service thing, but this one year they tried to do something different, and they talked about the history of the tribe, and then they went through all that stuff, and it was like I had no idea. I knew about the one Trail of Tears, the one that they taught in school. Now, what about in this area? What do you want this to be?
Like like a cream, like a cream colored, because I really want for the colors in the stained glass to stand out.
Okay. So I got a cream color in here, and so yeah, it's just kind of interesting. And with history, not
And
really.
says that he's very pale. The character is very pale.
Well, if we just leave him the color he is, he's really pale. So one of these colors, these are kind of yellowy colors. Let me see if we have
Yeah, that
that.
really soft, the soft yellow one.
Okay, like like this one
Right
here.
there. Yep, that one right there. One.
Okay,
Yep, those two look good.
okay.
Hmm.
Very pale, pale like a ghost. Yeah,
Tom was talking about the checkers in Patterson. I remember when they first brought that, when that first came to Patterson. Patterson was known as the Silk City. They said, "Oh, the Silk City, capital of the world," because there was a waterfall there, and that's what powered all the mills.
yeah,
So there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history there, as with all places.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But that was my normal for the longest time. I didn't realize that that's not how the rest of the world was until I actually left.
yeah. Well, then you guess maybe you're lucky that you left, right?
I do often feel like I was exposed to a whole other world by leaving. Had I stayed, I may still be, I don't know, dare I say, trapped there
Yeah, yeah.
outside of Jersey City. Oh, yeah. Tom
Well,
grew up in Jersey City, close to Jersey City.
that's kind of really is important. That too bad we don't have more of an emphasis within our culture for when people get done with high school or something like that to go someplace else for a while, whether it be like in the military or they go
Mhm.
or like a job corps or something like that to go to another state, at the very least, and to um experience something with other kids your same age and learning something, doing a skill or something, and then away from your parents,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
that provides critical learning, I think.
yeah, yeah.
I think parents know that and they try to keep you sheltered for as long as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if we go in, let's go into some of these other colors here, kind of the creamier colors, and we can just layer those in here. There's a little bit of lights coming in from the outside world.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree, Tom. There should be programs. I went to school for art. I went to an arts high school and I studied dance and drama, and I fully intended to pursue that in college.
Yeah.
But my dad got a wind of my idea and he said, "Stay here and I'll buy you a car.
Um,
Stay here."
well, my sister was a dancer, and so when she was growing up, they pulled some strings to try to get her into this dancing college or high school in Portland. So and it was like but then they got caught, and so they had to leave that, which was really devastating for her because she was really good at it. And then um and so yeah, and let's see, we'll talk about the ed.
Wow. Tom's wife has never flown on a plane. Not that I would start now. I don't blame you. There was another incident today.
Yeah. Yeah, I've only been a few times on a plane. I'm not scared of flying. I don't like the fact that you can't get up and walk around. You can, but it's so cramped in those damn airplanes. I prefer traveling by train or by the um by a yeah, I prefer a Greyhound bus to the airplane. You know, Greyhound buses are at least interesting. You
Wow. Tom, he hasn't been on a plane since he could smoke in them.
Oh, you know what? That when I took that trip to Israel, I was actually a cigarette smoker at that time, and I did. We had like I didn't there's I think it was like 20 of us that went. They all from college, and and then like on that trip, there were most of the people. There was just three of us who were actual smokers, and then everyone else. It seemed like all these smokers came out of the woodwork and said, "Oh, that's just Europe. That's just the way it is. We're
You
going
were
to
a
Europe."
smoker too?
What? I'm an
You were a
ex. Yeah, yeah,
ex-smoker?
yeah. It took me 12 years to get off of tobacco. It was just
Mm,
terrible.
it's hard, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My tobacco of choice was actually snuff. Um, growing up in a logging town and all that.
Hmm.
That's the thing. Anyway, so we are getting moving along here.
You're doing great.
Well, I
You
think
can do two things at once, color and talk.
I am because I've been working on that skill just on this channel. And so Tom, I quit in 2012 too. It was April of 2012. My dad died in that car accident in June of 2012, and I didn't go back. So, but in that year between 2012 and 2013, I had 3 cigarettes, and usually I would go with the dishwashers. We'd go down to the bar after work, and then they would be smoking and thinking, "Oh," and I thought, "Oh, that cigarette smelled so good," and then I said, "Could I have one of those?" And then you have one, and then I remembered, "Oh, I guess that's why I didn't need it." And then I think the last time I had a cigarette because I went with the guys, and I got so hammered. I mean, and, uh, and we went down to but I convinced we had started drinking at the casino, and I convinced the other guys. I said, "You know what? Let's go down to the other bar. It's just a mile away." And but they said they were going to drive, and I said, "Oh no, let's walk down. It's a nice night. We can walk down." And so that was good that we got them to walk because I didn't really want to be a party to drinking and driving and everything else. And anyways, and then so anyways, we would go down there, and so I was drinking. What was I drinking? I was drinking. Oh yeah, I was drinking 151, and I mixed it with Kraken.
Cracking.
Yeah, yeah, Kraken. And so I had this, and because it was really cheap at that bar, and so I had like a couple of those, and I got so hammered. and then and I was supposed to be home earlier, and I didn't come home, and then I made my way home, but then the next day at work I was so hungover, and anyways, I don't know what that had to do, but I think that was probably the last time I had a cigarette. That was what it was all about. I had a cigarette that day,
Well,
and
Ange said that she used to love bumming smokes. And I was
yeah,
gonna say I smoked for years without ever buying a pack of cigarettes. So
I noticed that about women. They had a tendency to do that. I mean, my sister was that way too, and yeah, yeah, they're all good at bumming things. Yeah, yeah. All right, and so what else we got? So let's go.
At first I was kind of sad, thinking like, "Oh, there's no sky in our card," because you've been doing a really nice job with those skies.
Guys, yeah.
Yeah, that sky earlier today that came out so nice.
In my my 7 of coins.
Yes.
Where I have it right here. Well, my I'm just adding a little bit more light into this by adding this little yellowy color. It also helps to so let me just go on. What are your likes and dislikes about YouTube?
About YouTube,
Yeah, YouTube itself.
I like that YouTube is a great place to meet other people that have similar interests and you can build a community. On
Yeah.
the flip side of that, it makes me sad that people feel the need to compete with other people inadvertently. Maybe that wasn't their intent, but they see what other people are doing and then they start to wonder if what they're doing is good enough. And, it's disheartening.
Yeah. So that it's on the whole social element of it.
Yes.
Um, yeah, the competitive nature to it. Yeah, I can see that because it's like I had another channel name and I refused to mention that name.
Well,
I came up with it like 9 months ago, which I did. I can because now I've logged it in and I logged it in a second channel called the Tools of Fortune. I'm still building the channel, but
yeah.
that was it was a great name. So that whole competitive nature, you just wanted to not um, voice things before you're ready because you go lose your name and something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Frank says that I have a slight accent. So that could be left over from two places. Try to guess. Try to
Yeah.
guess.
Well, that would have to be New Jersey, right?
Mm-hmm. A mix of New Jersey and also, uh, my ethnicity.
Well, I don't. I never asked. So
I'm Hispanic.
I just assumed you were an American. That was all I was assuming. You said New Jersey, and you said all this, and okay, well,
Yes, that's where I was born and raised. Yeah, New Jersey.
um,
Born and raised in New Jersey, just like
so
Bruce Springsteen.
so that goes with when you talk about folk Catholicism, and there is I've read about that and about that because that element of folk Catholicism doesn't exist in um it doesn't exist in Western Europe for the most part because it was completely driven out by inquisitions and everything else, and people were the they were driven into the secret societies, and they were driven into um, into prison and everything else for practicing folk Catholicism, folk Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And to see this, the start of that kind, I think what happened with I think it was in the 2nd century is when they started killing the Gnostics, and that's when they started, you know. So I added some yellow, this creamy yellow into here,
Yes.
just to bring out, because I felt like it needed a little light in here.
Mm-hmm.
Even though in all these different cards there's no light in it, but that doesn't mean there doesn't have to be light in there. But if we look at this 4 of Swords from, and this one has a lot of, it's different. It's a scout, the person that's scouting out the buffalo, and it's the 4 of Tomahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
That I think that's a Los Scarabeo deck, no?
It is a U.S. Games.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. This is the only one deck that somebody gave to me. U.S. Games.
Mm.
So only one. All of my, because if I were gonna wait for somebody to give me a tarot deck, I would have never gotten one. Uh, but let's go over into the stained glass because that's where we're at.
Yes. Now whip out all the colors, all the bright colors.
All the bright colors. All right.
Yes, like sapphire and ruby and emerald.
Okay, so let's just start on this side here.
Mm-hmm.
And anything over here?
No, those are light. Maybe that green. What color is that green?
This one?
No, the one on the other side. On the right side.
There's no green on the right side.
Not that section that you're looking at, the section to the right. Yes, was that a green there next to in the
Yeah, it's a green.
there's one that looks like it's next to a yellow gold. Is
Hmm.
that green? Is that green?
I don't know. Let me
No,
see.
that looks blue. That looks blue.
Kind of a bluish green.
Okay. I mean, that's a possibility.
It says sapphire.
Oh, perfect. That's the
Okay,
one.
we'll pull that one out. So let's
Okay.
just go through here. And what about on this side? You want anything on here?
Well, if we have sapphire, then we need like an emerald, a nice emerald green.
Okay, we might. I think I saw that name here once before. This is a dark green, moss green, olive green, turquoise green.
Ooh, that sounds pretty.
Okay, we'll pull that one out. I can't pronounce that word. Forest green. Come
We'll
over
need a
here.
nice like a nice ruby red.
This is light green, and it's green, but I think there's more greens in here because they're
We
not exactly in order anymore.
Yeah, but we definitely need a red and then like a really bright yellow.
A red and a bright yellow.
Mhm.
Okay, this is a turquoise blue.
Oh, that's pretty.
Okay. You know what? I have a bright yellow in someplace else.
Okay.
Green, fresh leaves green, apple green, pale green, lime green. What is this one over here? Green, yellow. Now, any of these colors?
Yeah, the yellow next to the orange.
This one?
Mhm.
Okay.
And
Any?
then that red, the red that's next to the orange.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we got other ones.
Mmm. My goodness, it's like when you go to the buffet and everything looks good and you want one of everything.
I know, I know.
Yeah.
I
I
worked
feel
in a
like we need to have a purple in there.
okay. So I have a couple different sections of different types of purple. We have
Well, those look more muted. I think I like the other page. Yeah.
the brighter one
Yeah.
in here.
Mhm. That magenta, like that magenta color
Well, you tell me where magenta is.
right there.
Here?
Back to the two pencils over. Two
Here?
pencils. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Magenta. Okay.
And then where the purples are,
Over here.
no, to the other side of the booklet. Yeah. Uh it's going to be, I think it's the fifth pencil in from the left.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one?
Let's call it 7.
Okay.
Seven.
The other 5? The other
Yeah.
5?
That one looks good.
This one's called Rose.
Ooh.
Or maybe it's Hose. Well, it doesn't look rose to me. I mean, but then it says it could be rose or maybe it's hose. Yeah. All right. So we
Mhm.
got that. Now,
Yeah, we have a good start.
now I go into my other can of colors, and we're looking at things you need. Now, this is a burnisher for blending and a pencil, which we don't need a pencil. And so here is a bright yellow.
That looks great.
Okay. This is another bright yellow.
Oh, which one do you think is best?
I think we'll use them both.
Okay.
And then I have a bright blue.
Mhm. It's beautiful.
Yes. No.
Yes, yes, let's do it.
Okay. And then that's another blender pencil. And then there are these ones. Now we could actually go over some of these other areas and add some of these colors on.
That would be beautiful. Yes.
So why don't we just put these ones back over here for now?
Mhm.
All right. So you like the fact that there's a lot of community to be had, but you hate the competition that exists within YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How about we start over here with this?
Yeah, I was going to ask you because it's difficult.
It says magenta right on there.
Oh, you see, I have a good eye. I have a good eye.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, because are there any figures or is it just little blocks?
There are figures. There's a
Okay.
the priest, and then there's the midget. This right. I mean, it's the little guy on his knees.
Okay.
Um, so you
Yeah,
want to
let's go for it. Yeah.
start with the midget over here, and
Okay.
then maybe there was a color. I'm sorry, it's late for you, and you're getting the giggles, and because
Uh,
you're
Tom
like
said canceled. It's called Little Person.
little person. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm an awfully old person, and um.
Oh, did you see your sister has a question?
Okay.
She wants to know
Well,
if you like the pencil set.
I do like the pencil set because we've been using it, but we've also been using some of the other pencils and as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the choice of pencils it's all up to the special guest and what they want, what their vision is.
Yes, it's nice that you have uh different choices.
Yeah,
Variety. That's the word I was looking
mhm,
for.
variety.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I like that pencil set. Yes. So, so we'll just kind of. Do you mind? You want me to just to randomly choose what color something
Yes.
is? Okay.
Yes, but it's difficult for me to see from this angle. So yes,
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna let you drive on this one.
All righty. So then, and so you did your family practice then full Catholicism, or were you?
Probably my mother. My father lives next door to a church,
Yeah.
but I don't know that he actually goes there.
So
But
essentially,
he was not much of a praying person in his younger years. As he's gotten older, he's gotten a bit more spiritual.
I see. So he was very like a lot of men, and that they were part of their younger years. All of their time and effort was put forward into into raising children and making sure there was food on the table, and
Mm,
all of that there was zero time in order to even think about going to church or whatnot.
mhm.
Very very typical. You people that's they become religious when they're older, but that's simply because that um I never use that word again that I didn't really want to use that sound at all. Mm. That use that yeah, because there just wasn't time,
Mm.
but it doesn't mean that the person wasn't a spiritual being, that
Yes. Yes.
they didn't feel that call of the spirit. It's just that there was too much time. They were too tired and so forth.
It's a
Which is
multitude of things, right? But I think all of us are we it's a journey that we're on, right? And we all progress at different rates.
yeah, and see, is not everybody has a call to be a religious person or a spiritual person at all, because sometimes
Mhm.
people just all very much, a lot of people maybe they choose a atheism as but is in a form of to be more of that moral and ethical person. Because I most all the people I know who are atheists are extremely moral people.
Mm.
Their
Mhm.
high- their ethics are just are as far as making being inclusive and making sure that people aren't offended, or that they're very measured in their language and everything. And whereas um, a lot of other folks, they could really care less. You know.
Mhm. It's interesting because my father was a lot more open to the idea of me doing tarot, and my mom completely shut down.
Yeah. Yeah. My mother is kind of. I don't. She doesn't really understand the witchy stuff. Um.
Mm. I just
Yeah.
saw Tom's question,
Yeah.
uh, and he's asking if Santeria was prevalent around you. I would say when I was in New Jersey, yes. Uh, Here, it's more difficult to say.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't really know anybody around here who does tarot. I know there's people. Actually, there's people who do it.
Closet, there's a lot of closet practitioners.
Yeah. Well, let's add some light onto this person's, on the little person here. This. I'm sorry, that was just funny. The midget, but
Yes. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So your dad was really more open to that, so which means that maybe your mom, um, that just wasn't in your mother's experience. You
No,
know,
although I know for a fact that she has, been to, get her palm read or her cards. I know that she's done stuff like that. She can
yeah,
hide it all she wants, but I know, but I know that she's done it. Um, but my dad thought it was like amazing. At the time, I was taking a tarot class, and it was over the course of 16 weeks, I want to say 12
yeah,
to 16 weeks. And so uh, part of the part of the class happened while I was on holiday in Puerto Rico, visiting my dad. And so I mentioned that I was taking the class, and he just thought it was great that there was a class, and like, oh really? And what's it like? And what does it talk about? Did you get in trouble if you don't go? And
yeah, yeah. Huh. So what was the class like? Where did you, was it like, where'd you, did you take that like down at a community college or something, or?
it was online. I took Sadhana's Tarot Foundations class, and she's a member of the community.
Bottom
And yeah,
classes? Wow.
yeah, so she was offering a class, and it was a time where I felt like, you know what, a class sounds good. So
Mhm.
I signed up, and I learned a lot. I made a lot of new friends,
Yeah.
which was nice. And we touched on a lot of things that I would never have picked up on my own, right? Because prior to that, I was just kind of studying on my own, learning, just watching other people's channels, picking up books every now and again. But
Mhm.
it was, I would definitely say if you have the opportunity to do something like that, it would be a great, teaching lesson.
Yeah, a lot of it just it's all about the money and
Mm,
not really having that. So if I were to take one, I wouldn't mind taking one of those Joe Montelio courses.
you mentioned him earlier.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking, I wonder if I could get him to show. He's much of a bigger YouTuber.
Mm.
Yeah, I have mentioned him before.
Oh, are you
And
getting into the Thoth?
what was that?
Are you getting into the Thoth?
Um, yes and no. I have the Thoth, but I'm kind of more into that into the tarot mysticism,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
more in I'm kind of more really pretty much wedded to the Rider Waite system. The Thoth deck does have this sort of a, there are things I like about it, but it also has this evilly quality to it that I don't particularly care for. It kind of there's some tarots that they rub right up against my Christianity. And it makes,
Mm-hmm.
um if that makes sense or not. But for people who are like, we're further away from that, or they're more into the paganism and the witchcraft and so forth, that it's that that those kinds of symbolisms don't bother them as much, but for some reason they bother me.
Mm,
If that makes any sense.
it does. But we each have our own, work to do.
Hmm. Yeah,
I think tarot is a multi-purpose tool. Different people use it for different things, and
yeah. So I've asked this question, and so in your tarot practice so far, how do you think tarot works?
that's a great question. Isn't it magic?
Magic?
Yeah.
Maybe. It's
I
up
don't
to you.
know.
I'm
I forgot who said this at one point. Somebody said that it didn't matter when you have a question and you shuffle and you pull a card, it doesn't matter what card comes out, there's always going to be a lesson in that card for you. Um, I don't know. There's so many synchronicities with the tarot. I do believe that, it's part intuition and part magic. And
so what does magic mean to you?
um, something that it's difficult to explain in words because it's not something, well, I don't know. Some people say seeing is believing. Some
Yeah.
people, even when they see, they still don't believe.
Mhm. Well, I'm just give it your best try, your best college try here as far as what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think magic?
I think actually that magic is all around us and it depends
Okay.
the stage that you are in your life whether or not you see those things.
Yeah.
There
Hmm.
are things that I see as definite signs from spirit,
Yeah.
but I find that when I'm disconnected, then I don't notice them as much as when I am connected.
And so Anne says tapping into energies and frequencies, and tarot decks are pieces of paper. We, the people who use the tarot, put the energy into it. Yeah. Because
Mm.
I was thinking that that maybe early people, they used the sky like maybe like it as a means of divination. They used the patterns in the sky in things like that to do that to and attach meaning to that,
Mhm.
and
And
then morphed into and became tarot. And
I'm just intrigued. So Tom says, "Are you getting the answers from the tarot from yourself or from external things?" And I think this is the beauty of tarot. This is why if you have 25 readers in the room and you give them the same three cards, they're going to come up with unique readings for all of those cards because it's what you put into it. It's your intuition. It's
yeah.
your hunch. It's your gut feeling.
So then, where does intuition come from? What does that mean? What does intuition mean to you?
It's like that sixth sense, spidey sense. I think that's the term that most guys seem to resonate with.
Yeah, spidey sense.
Hmm.
Mhm. Hmm. I mean, because I sometimes think about it, like what is happening?
Ange says these are big questions, and Tom says we need some weed for this
Yeah,
conversation.
well, but over there in Florida where you're at, it's not even legal. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
The illegal things over there, But the
Yes.
weather's nice, right? You're in Florida and the weather's nice. So why did you choose Florida?
Uh, Florida chose me. Actually, um, I was going to school at Montclair State, and I applied for an internship, and the internship was here in Florida. And once I came here, I ended up just staying here. I never went back.
I see. And
Hmm.
so how many years have you been in Florida then?
I have been in Florida 33 years.
33 years. So you're older,
33.
you're older than 33 years old then?
I started there when I was one.
Okay, all right. So you started there when you were one. Okay, all right.
So I'm 34.
You're 34. All right, I got you.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So I've been in Florida 33 years, and that's how long I have been working
Huh,
at my place of business. Yes. 33
yeah,
years. It's a long
30.
time.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Mm. Tom's sister went to Montclair as well.
yeah.
Hmm.
Wasn't there a cigarette brand called Montclair?
I think you're right. Yes.
I know my grandmother used to smoke Virginia Slims.
Hmm.
So
Classic.
how do you think of your little scene here?
I think it looks great.
Yeah,
Hmm.
little extra touches there.
Yeah. Oh, the window is amazing. It's exactly what I hoped it would be.
Really? Oh, good.
Hmm.
Your mind, working on speaking into my mind is working very well. I'm just uh, doing the whole
Yes.
being
Because
open to
that
inquiry.
card, you imagine like it's very dull and muted, and then that window, I feel like the hope comes from that window.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the window in the 5 of Pentacles.
Except this one is a more hopeful one, whereas the Five of Pentacles is a bit different, and so there's
This
actually
could be what happens if you take the invitation from the 5 of Pentacles. If you walk past the building, you're in need, you need help, you need assistance, the door is there, and the light is shining through the window, and then you step in and you lay down.
yeah.
See? That's
Oh,
what happens.
yeah. So it's like that's that same church.
Hmm.
Means something here. All right. Then what kind of I guess now we're kind of committed here. We're going to be adding some of this other color in the
What
wall.
color was that? What color was that?
It's your metallic red.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So what do you think of like your governor?
The governor, let's not talk about him.
Okay, all right. Oh, we're not going
There's
to talk
so
about
many
that.
more interesting people to talk about.
Then there's that other guy who's not there anymore, Mr. Gates. Is he like in your district? No, all right.
No.
Okay, no. Because I was like, 'cause there are like some YouTubers out of Florida that I follow.
Mhm.
Um, but I think they're a little bit further north. And there was one of them I used to follow, and then he like burned himself out, and now his wife does his channel.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah,
Wow. You see that a lot. My kids used to follow some gamers, partners, right? And then the relationship comes to an end, and that's it. The channel closes down.
yeah. Oh, so how long have you been doing your channel for?
My channel, I started, let's see, I got my deck in December of 2020. Probably a year later, I started the channel.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, but I started the channel. I always had a channel. Uh, because my kids had channels, so I had a channel so I could kind of keep an eye on what they, were into.
Well, you don't have to post videos to have a channel. You can.
Yeah, yeah, but then I think I started to post videos in the beginning. I started to do, top down videos, going through decks. That's kind
Mhm.
of how I started, and it wasn't until recent, like this last summer, that I started doing, the whole thing, like showing face and
Yeah. Well, like I just started doing faces just within the last 6 months or so.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're almost done with this thing.
I really like how that figure looks, and I like that you added that little pop of red there.
Yeah. Put this magenta down where he's laying on a magenta pillow,
Mhm.
kind of absorbing that color of the magenta. And maybe we'll give him purple hair, kind of purple.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Mhm.
Oh, let me see. Do I have any other questions here for you? Um, how does tarot work? Okay, we answered that one. That one, yeah. Okay. Anything else? No. So
I'm gonna invite you to my channel, Bill.
you can do that, and
I'm
yeah.
thinking we can draw a card together.
Okay. Yeah, because I haven't actually read for anybody. I just like Celine. I haven't. I just have only read for my sister so far.
That would be fun.
And
Yes.
Anne has been kind of pushing me. She wants me to read for others, and so does Tarot Ask Backwards because they think it's high time that I started reading for others, and so
Mhm.
I do have that other channel that I started working on, but I haven't really. I'm still a little bit nervous about that, and
Yeah. But I think you have a really good thing going. I love the concept of your channel.
yeah,
Oh, Tom thought that I've been reading for a really long time. No,
yeah,
I'm pretty new. Although I have to say I've always been connected to my intuition.
yeah,
And so it was, getting into the cards was something that was easy for me.
yeah. Because
Once I started to trust, right? Because I had to learn trust first.
I started. It was like something I wanted to do because I told the story before about having having gotten like it was like 2 years ago having gotten COVID for the first time that I knew of. And
Mm-hmm.
then my mom had it and she was really sick. She was in ICU. Then I was talking with my aunt, and then she had told me about um the Swedish peoples and the maybe even like this Swedish like gypsy like that folk kind of a thing, spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
and that my grandmother, great grandmother, that as a as a thing that she maybe read tarot, like while the boys were drunk, their husbands were drunk, and then they would gather around the kitchen table, and then someone said, "Oh, read my fortune," something like that. The ladies would be doing that, and that's kind of what. And so when I had heard that, it was the permission was granted, and I ordered that first tarot deck, which was this one, which was kind of a mistake because I wish I would have ordered another one, but well, I thought, I was looking around. This was a keyword deck, and it
Mm.
had a weird smell on it. And then because every time I would shuffle it, I would get like migraines because of the smell. Then
Oh.
eventually I got my first tarot deck, first one, and then which didn't have that, and but I was like thinking, okay, I started in, and I was thinking, well, how hard could it be? How hard could it be to learn this? So I'm pretty good at picking things up, and I've said that thing before multiple times before embarking on a new skill or task. Well, how hard can it be?
Hmm.
Then you
Well,
get into
it's that
it.
there's so many layers to the tarot. Well, that's one thing for sure. You will never be bored.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's a great exercise. I knew a woman that was doing tarot because um, she was showing signs of, I don't know if it was early dementia or early Alzheimer's, and she was told that if she practiced tarot, that would kind of help her keep her mind.
yeah,
Um, mhm.
yeah. Anyway, so that was kind of how it was, and so like when someone said there that they thought you've been doing tarot for a long time, that kind of reminded me of when I was
Mhm.
learning bartending at like 49 years of age, 50 years of age, learning how to be a server, but I was doing wait staff for the first time at 50 years of age, and people were thinking, they would ask me, I said, "I'm just new at this," and I said, "Well, we thought you've been doing this for like 20 years because it was like being with customer service skills and attentiveness and everything else." And I says, "No, it's been like less than a year, and I'm 50 years old, and I'm doing this kind of work for the very first time in my life."
Mhm.
You know? But I said those same things. Was how hard could it be? It was actually extremely hard. That that was how hard it was. It was extremely hard. Yeah. So like Ange and I smell the decks, and
You're a deck smeller?
I am a deck smeller, and
Me too. I like the
so
smell.
but so like this has a really funky smell. It still has a bad smell.
But they say there's things you could do about that.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? I've mentioned this before, like last week when it was the sticky cards thing. It's that I spend this money on this stuff, and I can't use it, and I have to do this extra step and to make it useful. And
It's
so,
not so bad.
well, I haven't yet on that one. I haven't yet written that 3-star review on that deck yet, because of those sticky cards. But I plan to.
Yes.
I
And
did.
says baking soda.
I had another deck that I ordered, and I actually they were so uh I wrote a 1-star review on it because this
Mhm.
smelled so terrible, and I was afraid to touch them. I'm thinking, if they smell that bad, I wonder if they're toxic to the touch.
That's
And
possible. Yes, because your skin is very absorbent.
yeah, exactly. And so then I returned it, and I wrote a real bad review, and then the company went down on there, and they saw it, and then before I had actually set it up to go wanting just a plain old refund on it,
Mm.
and they took it upon themselves to send me another deck.
Oh, that was nice.
Now I haven't opened that one up yet, but I still have it I'm kind of afraid that it's going to have the same bad smell.
Mhm.
But I had another deck that I got from them, and it didn't have a bad smell, and I really liked it. So it just
Mhm.
depends. I was just thinking, well, maybe They just need to use a different printer. Maybe they shouldn't print their cards in China.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what it is?
Well, I think what it is what it was is that they were trying to be competitive with U.S. games, and they were trying to be competitive with the other bigger tarot companies, and instead of going to a more expensive printer, they went to the cheapest printer as possible, and so they flooded the market with a bunch of cheap decks.
Thomas in rare form.
Yeah, I'm practicing for when I ascend to the Tarot Destroyer God from. I need to see that movie, Thomas, because the whole Conan the Barbarian is like one of my favorite movies, and I remember I watched it the first time like in a drive-in theater, and when I was like 15 or 16 years of age, and let's see if I can turn the camera because we're done with this card. Let me see if I'm going to turn the camera up,
Yes.
and I don't want to show off my messy room because my cleaning skills are terrible. That's one of the things I just not good at all. Okay, wait. Here we go. And
Oh, Terror Destroyer came in?
yeah, so we have Conan the Barbarian with Arnold, and so that movie is like a silent film. Have you seen it before? You must
Mm-mm.
have seen
Which one?
Conan. It's the very first one, Conan the Barbarian
Is
with
that with
Arnold.
Arnold?
Yeah,
Arnold?
with Arnold. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
and so you have, and then it has James Earl Jones in it because it has the snake people, and the hold on a second here.
Hmm?
Anyways, uh, and anyway, so it has the James Earl Jones plays in it, and when he's like that snake person, every time I see Marjorie Taylor Greene, she reminds me of that character. Now, I don't. This is not a political channel at all, but I'm just making a reference here.
Mm.
And it's not being about politics. It means that woman, she looks just like that Snake King, um, in that movie. But nevertheless, the Conan the Barbarian, the soundtrack, and all that action, and he says like 5 words in the whole film or something like that. And so dialogue is like totally unnecessary, but it was whoever put that soundtrack together, and then the acting in it just really reminds me of like a silent film. I don't know where this is going because it was Conan the Destroyer. That's where Tom jogged my memory and was thinking of Conan, and my goes
Oh,
into these
okay.
random places, because
Oh, he says it's because he didn't really speak English just yet.
yeah, he didn't speak English for it yet.
Well,
Yeah,
that's something because Jackie Chan didn't speak any English and they just threw him in there.
yeah. And then when I was up in Seattle, I one of my the places I used to go hang out was this cemetery. Um, Not because I was morbid, because it was quiet. And then, but this was also the same cemetery where uh, Bruce Lee was buried.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
You know, and yeah,
I find cemeteries to be very peaceful.
yeah. And so that one was really peaceful, and then it was well, like way too late. It was like in my last 6 months, and I went to the next cemetery over, and it was a Civil War cemetery, uh,
Mm.
where they were Union soldiers who at the end of the war they came out west, and then they were all buried in this. They were buried on the top of Capitol Hill in Seattle. There's like what, there were like 100, I think 100 graves up there in Civil War.
Mm. Yes. I
Yeah.
visited quite a few. I had a friend that lived in Virginia, and we visited quite a few. I learned how to smoke weed in the sun.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I have other things the stories I could tell about that cemetery, but which I can't talk about because they're not, you know, going to. Anyways,
The last cemetery that I visited was Casadega in Florida.
Cowabunga.
No,
Casadega.
Casadega. But nothing metaphysical happened to me there.
Yeah. Oh, that's good because if you would like remember that one movie, Night of the Living Dead, that was all about it.
Mhm.
I remember watching that film. That one scared me to death.
Yes, it's a psychic community, Casadega.
Yeah. Huh. Well, this has been a lot of fun.
Yes, I agree. This was a lot of fun. I'm
Yeah.
very happy that we did the Four of Swords. I think it turned out amazing.
Yeah. So we'll just take another look here. If we can take a look at what it looks like. And
Mm. Yeah, I mean that my favorite part is that window. And the
yeah.
figure looks better than in the tarot deck.
All right. So I'm going to do the last thing, which is I need to. Today is what, the 31st, January 20. Yeah.
Well, here
One.
it's February the 1st.
Okay. Well, here it still should be. Wow, that's weird. The counter seemed to have started over.
Oh.
Oh, that's right, because it is. Yeah, I'm in February 1st right now because it's on 16. So I've punched. Have I been on that long?
Oh, we've been on angel number 111.
Yeah.
111 minutes.
Okay, 111. So it's not. Anyway, I don't know what. I don't know why it says 17 minutes on this side. The not
Mm-hmm.
the moon. It's the more intuitive me.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to.
We lost Ramon a long time ago, and I think, Selena fell asleep, and
So is that you mean? They did, was there a break in the did I lose the internet for a minute and I didn't know it?
you glitched out for just a second, but not long, like literally, like just a second.
Oh, okay. All right. So this
Hmm.
is it.
Gorgeous. I love it.
All righty. Well, this was a great. I like this too. This was fun. So then we have Care Bear borrow the cards on Tuesday. And I
Mm-hmm.
need to find somebody else to come in for like next Friday. I don't know who. If maybe if I can't find somebody, maybe Ange wants to come back again.
Mm. That would be
Or
amazing.
or
Yeah.
maybe Tom wants to take his turn. And
Yeah.
so I'm just putting it out there. Someone for next Friday in the 9 o'clock hour. You know,
Mm-hmm.
kind of wafting. My thoughts are wafting to the sky like incense. They just rise up there like incense.
You're wearing all the colors of the window.
Am I?
You have the blue and the red, and then the background. I don't know if it's meant to be yellow, but it looks yellow.
It's gold. There was a girlfriend that I had, and she said that I needed to paint my walls gold, but I was living in an apartment where I couldn't paint anything, so I just bought these gold sheets and I put them up like gold.
Ah.
And then she says, "Oh, you need to." And then she gave me a red shirt. "Oh, you need to wear a red shirt. You need to wear red." And I think, all right, that's fine. And then I was like wearing. Then I also had at that time my sister gave me a pair of corduroy jeans. I had some gold corduroy jeans, and I wore those until they're completely worn out. But
Mhm.
then I'd be wearing those, and I'd be wearing some other clothes with it, and then going around town. I go sit in the park, and then men would guys like African American people would come and say, "Oh man, you look really good. Those colors, you wouldn't think they would look good on a white guy like you, but they look really good on you, and I really like that." Yeah,
That was
she was,
nice.
and she was a divorce lawyer.
Mm.
A divorce lawyer, yeah, yeah, and I felt a little bit intimidated because I felt like there was a huge power dynamic between her income and mine, and I shouldn't have let those things get the better of me, but I was younger, and I was letting those things get to my head, and because I know, because income thing for men is really a important. It shouldn't be, but it is a huge thing, and
Mm.
and men don't necessarily feel all that attractive when they're poor. And because there's a lot of, not, I know, maybe not every man is that way, but it certainly has been my life where there is just a lot of tying being the whole provider thing along with your attractiveness. Now, maybe your physical attractiveness is one thing. Physical attractiveness goes away in the end. It doesn't stay forever. It's a temporary thing, but there are other things, and so that was always something that I had struggled with, and I wasn't successful because I had a lot in common with this lady. I mean,
Mm.
she went to metal shows with me, and no one else would go to a metal show with me. You know, she we went to I met her at a waltz, and she went to dances with me, and stuff like that. But anyways, that's enough of me. I mean,
You needed this at that time.
yeah, I
You
needed
needed you needed rest. You needed to put your mind to rest.
the
Hmm.
golden girl. Yeah, yeah. But that was an experience.
It was a lesson that needed to be learned.
Yeah, yeah, that was.
Tom.
Oh, my hair then while I was, yeah. I had hair, actually. I had a lot more hair then. And then I had more hair, and then before it turned all gray, and then I'd wear a hat, and I would look like a Jew because that was also that part of town where there's synagogues. I remember this one time I was like uh, walking around, and there was a synagogue in the neighborhood, and the guy had a little card table, and he was like asking questions, and he said, he pulled me, hey, he said, when was the last time you went to synagogue? And he says, probably like 500 years. He says, what does that mean? Well, I think I had some, there might have been a relative in the distant past that was of that, of Jewish extraction, but then maybe the church came in and was going to like kill them, and so they forced converted to Christianity. Maybe it was a
Mhm.
1,000 years ago. I don't know. Maybe it's longer,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
anyway. But I don't know. I said no. I just said just insane amount of time. And he says no. I'm not. I'm sorry. Do I look like a Jew? And he says yeah, yeah, you do. And but you know I said, well, I'm sorry. I'm actually a Swede, and you know
Oh, that's a good point. You would be fun to have drinks with. Have a couple cigs and then take the Amtrak out to Oregon.
yeah, we could do that. I'd have to go off of my metformin for a few days before I could even have a drink.
Mm, it would be fun. It would
Yeah,
be fun. Well, this
unfortunately,
was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And
yeah, it
thank you
was.
so much for the open invite.
Yeah, yeah, it's just great to have a good conversation, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. And I want to say special thanks to Tom and Ange for writing it out with us.
Yeah, moderating
Mhm.
and keeping the riffraff out, and I did notice they did keep a little of that out. So, anyways, I think probably time to turn off the camera here, and I wanted to thank everybody
Mhm.
here. Roots and Waves, Early Ritual, for my sister, and for everyone else.
Mhm.
We'll see you the next time, and I'm going to be back on tomorrow night to paint something. And then, what kind of things do you got coming up? Anything special?
I'm gonna be reading with Ange soon. Next week, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I do more pre-recorded videos than I do lives. So yeah, I'm working on a pre-recorded now, and then I have the live coming up.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I
Awesome.
have a I have a huge number of amount of data that's filling up my Google photo account that's full of this
Mm-hmm.
video that needs to be
Yeah.
edited. Yeah. I was gonna do one this week, but I haven't got around to it. Maybe when I get off here I'll finish editing it. And
Hmm.
anyways, that's it. And
Bye,
we'll see you the next
everyone.
time. Bye bye.